What's up, bro? I'm Kimberly.
I'm Emma.
I'm Kate.
And we're the Film Bros.
We may not be bros, but we're just as annoying.
We're here to talk about all things film, the industry, and us.
If you like what you hear or see, follow the podcast, like, comment, and subscribe.
You can find us on Instagram at thefilmbros.podcast and on YouTube at thefilmbros.podcast.
You can listen to us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Just search The Film Bros and look for the pink logo.
Lights.
Camera.
Action.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome back.
And I'm Kimmy.
Welcome back to the Film Bros podcast. We have a very, very, very special guest today.
Very special.
4 varies.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's our roommate, Ryan.
Yay! I'm very excited to be here. Honored to be the first guest
Yeah.
of the Film Bros.
It's a big
podcast.
honor.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a big honor.
That's what I think.
Introduce yourself.
Ooh. Hi, my name's Ryan, and I never know how to introduce myself. But, as I said, I'm a roommate, and I'm also a director. Dime a dozen here in this apartment. And also write and edit and VFX, and I basically just do everything.
Yeah, it's true. He's a genius.
Yeah.
That's what they call me sometimes.
And it's true.
I'm happy to be here.
Ryan went to Syracuse with us.
It's true.
Film school friend.
Film school friend.
Film school friend.
Now roommate.
Now roommate.
Best
roommate.
friend.
Oh,
Bestie.
stop, guys.
Part of the
Stop.
besties.
Stop.
And he's here today because we're doing our Dystopian Part 2 episode. If you haven't listened to Part 1, pause right here and go back because it's a pretty good episode. I think it's
pretty
one of my
good.
favorites.
It's fire.
It's pretty good.
We talked about Metropolis and
Banger.
then 1984.
Haven't
Compared the
seen
two.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really good.
I know.
Oh, do you want to do your top 4 really quickly? So everyone
that's a
knows
great
what your
idea.
taste is,
Ooh.
what you're
Yes,
into.
yes.
Well,
Off the dome.
being through film school, I should have a more solid answer to this question, but let me think. Train to Busan, always been a top one for me.
Per.
Fire.
Per.
I'm gonna go Scream. Big inspiration
So good.
horror-wise.
Scary movie's better.
That's so offensive. But we'll look back to that next episode that I'm on in like a year. What else? The Thing, huge inspiration
So
for
good.
me.
Great hair.
Just rewatched Knives Out.
So
That's
good.
your top 4?
That's really close, if not in it.
You said that was like one of the best directed movies you've ever
I think it's
seen.
one of the best directed movies I've ever seen.
And you've met Ryan.
And I've met Ryan Johnson.
Ryan's met Ryan.
Ryan's met Ryan. I was in the audience, probably about 100 feet away. But we
you met
made
big.
eyes.
That's
We
big.
made eyes.
Yeah.
He knew you
So
were another Ryan.
He could sense me in the room.
Yeah. Just in case 2 people haven't gathered, Kimmy is not with us this week.
Yes, but Ryan
But
is.
Ryan is.
So I am.
Just in case.
So, I mean, episode saved. What can I
All
say?
right.
Okay.
Great start to the episode.
I'm sorry. I'm really making a bad name for the bros since they've made their
Okay.
first appearance.
You're a bro today.
Yeah.
And never again.
I know, I'm already kicked off.
I'm joke.
It's okay.
Anyway, this is part 2 to our dystopian episode. We're talking about The Hunger Games, Beloved, and the new movie The Running Man by Edgar Wright, now in theaters, not sponsored. But go support
But if
it.
only.
Go in theaters.
But if
Go to
only.
theaters. All right, let me do a little introduction let's start with The Hunger Games.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little about that, and then we'll go into The Running Man, and then
Fantastic.
we'll compare, contrast. I know you have...
I have thoughts about The Running Man.
He's got a lot of thoughts about The Running Man.
I have
So,
thoughts.
all right, let's start with The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games... Let me put this here. The Hunger Games is a 2012 American dystopian action film directed by Gary Ross. This is specifically the first one we're talking about. He co-wrote the screenplay with Suzanne Collins, who is the author of the original book series, and Billy Ray. The film stars the incomparable Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, Liam Hemsworth, Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Lenny Kravitz, Stanley Tucci, Donald Sutherland. Oh my god. If you're not familiar, the film is about Katniss Everdeen, who Jennifer Lawrence plays, and Peeta Mellark Hutcherson, and they are forced to compete in what is called the Hunger Games. It's an elaborate televised fight to the death consisting of adolescent contestants from the 12 districts of Panem. which is basically America, but in the future. Okay, let's talk Hunger Games. So one thing that I think stands out about the Hunger Games more than so many other dystopian movies from that time, like we had The Maze Runner from that time, we had Divergent, and like, and I remember, it's so funny because I remember the Hunger Games at that time, at least the age I was at, it was very much lumped in with the other dystopian movies. Like it was like, oh, it's like kind of have a dystopian plot, but you're there for the love triangle. Like it's just another silly, goofy like girl movie, like
romance.
Like you're there for PETA, like you're there for Liam Hemsworth, and then. But what I find really interesting is I feel like those films had a resurgence, I think, with the release of Songbird and Snakes. And I feel like our generation rediscovered those movies, and we kind of were like, whoa, these are really thoughtful, like very relevant, unfortunately, films that I think go beyond so much more than what the marketing was for it, which was more of like a love triangle teen movie.
Right.
What was your first, I guess not first, what is your impression of it now, being the age you guys are at, rather than when you first watched it?
Well, I completely missed the boat the first time.
Really?
I did not read. I did not watch.
Wow.
My sister went to I remember like it was a packed theater. She had to sit on like in like the aisle.
Oh my god.
Back before you could reserve seats.
That's crazy.
But I missed it completely out. I didn't read it at all. And it wasn't until Bout of Songbirds and Snakes that I watched all the movies.
What?
I still have not read the books. I want to, though.
Whoa.
Late
So,
stage.
oh my
So
god.
I'm a late stage
how do
gamer.
how do you feel about it?
I think they're pretty good.
That's good.
That's all I have to say. I think they're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
I like them a lot. And watching the movies just really made me want to read the books. Because, like, especially the later movies, I was like, I feel like there's more here than what could be.
I will say, I think Catching Fire is like the best movie in the four movies.
Amazing.
It's fantastic.
Like top to bottom.
Yes.
Just so good.
Yeah.
What about you, Em? What's your impression of it now versus?
I don't know. So I was a fan from the get-go. And I actually think, or maybe I was a little bit of like a reverse fan. Like I think I watched The Hunger Games, the movie, and then I read all the books, and then I like saw them as they came out, the movies.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But I think the first time around, I didn't see Mockingjay Part 2. It was like a trend I had where I'd watch most of something and then not the last thing.
Yeah.
For whatever
Well, it
reason.
was a trend at the time to split
the
last book into two. Like Harry Potter did that.
Yeah, and I think it suffered from that. And I think I just, after the first one, I was like, I don't know if I need to watch the last one. And I read the books.
The director said he regretted that. Because he also did Songbirds and Snake, and he's doing the new one. And he said when he was doing the press tour for Songbirds and Snake, he was like, it was a trend at the time, and it made sense, but he regrets it, which I think is interesting.
It's really interesting. With those part 1 and part 2s, like you can always tell part 2 is spread thin, but also how could you fit all of that into one movie?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, though. I think in my mind, part 1 is spread thin, because I feel like most of the action is in part 2.
Part 1 is mostly about, like, making Katniss like be this like propaganda machine, and then part 2 is when they actually like do that, go through back to the Capitol, and it's
they
like
just like
much
they
more
slow down way
action-packed.
too much. Part 1, it lost me, but I did rewatch it. I rewatched it a couple times. I rewatched it like my sophomore year of college, which was that around when...
I think that's when Songbirds and Snakes
makes
come
sense.
out.
Yeah, it was like a big thing, and I remember rewatching it, and also like being in film school at the time, I was like, these are actually like so well made.
So well, what I love about the first one is that it's like really gritty.
It's
like
really gritty.
The camera's really shaky.
Yes.
Oh like God. the color palette in the districts is really bleak.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching the scene when they first are in the games, and it's like after the timer goes off, and it's like a good minute of like there's no speaking, it's just her running, like you see flashes of kids getting murdered, and I remember watching that when that came out and thinking like, this is really spooky, it's like dark. This is terrifying, and then seeing it now, you're like, oh my god, this is so well made, and it doesn't try to romanticize the games at all, even though like a lot of people have argued that like the fact that more Hunger Games movies keep getting made goes against the point of it. But
Yeah.
I
That's
don't.
really interesting
But I do
too,
think that
yeah.
movie does such a good job in the first one of like you open with it and it's like
Yeah.
it sucks. Like it's so scary and raw.
I will say too, I think that's what I noticed more later in life. Like I think when I was younger and I first saw it, I was like, I attached myself to Katniss, like I'm sure most young
For
people
sure.
did. I was doing the braid, you know,
Yeah.
the Katniss braid.
Yeah.
And I think like what we were talking about, I think I saw it more as like a teen film. Where
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
this is about like a teen girl going
Yes.
through this and like I'm a teen. I don't
Yeah.
think I was. But now I'm like, okay, like this really was sending a message like that I completely missed the first time around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think watching it again, it's like so much more violent and brutal and just disturbing than I ever
Well,
thought.
one thing bringing up Katniss is I remember when I was younger watching it, I remember her thinking she was supposed to be an insert character, much like Bella in Twilight,
Yes.
where it's like the girl's reading it, you're just supposed to self-insert into Katniss.
Yes.
And then it's like she's just a vehicle for like the love triangle.
Yeah, yeah.
But rewatching it, it's like I think people think she's flat because she's often quiet and introverted, and I think it's easy especially for like female characters to be like they have no personality, they're
Yeah.
flat. But like I think that's more of a testament to Jennifer Lawrence's talent, is that she has this like really quiet anger about her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like she's completely tossed. Like what I love is when she in the interview scene when she has to go up on the stage and she's so just like, I don't know, there's something about her performance that is so natural and like you really feel for her. And like
Yeah.
I don't know why at the time when it first came out I thought she was a self-insert character when she has like this
Yeah.
really fully formed personality, but it's just like thrown into this awful world
Yes.
that
Yeah.
she can't let it blossom.
I think that's what it is. Like, I think she's, like, not... How do I say this? Like, she's, of course, like, spectacular. And
Yeah.
she's amazing. And the character is, like, so amazing as well. But I
Yeah.
think, like, it's almost like she is just an ordinary girl thrust into these situations,
Yes.
reacting in a way that is normal but also like bolder, like
Yeah.
it's like a heightened version of like an average person experiencing this, you know.
Totally.
So it's like I think it's you can see yourself in that situation going, oh, like, you know, I'd like to think I would do that, but I probably wouldn't. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's what her character kind of is. So
Absolutely.
it's easy to see it being like, well, she's bland. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's just kind of like ordinary, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You know? But she really is like brave and amazing.
Absolutely. I think another highlight about the Hunger Games is all of the characters within it. Like I remember first watching it, I was obsessed with even the tributes who had like barely any screen time. Like
Yeah.
Clover, like the girls who throws
Was
knives.
that your knife
Oh
obsession?
my God, dude, oh my God. I watched Hunger Games as a 10-year-old and I just wanted to learn how to throw knives so bad because of it, which is probably such a bad thing. Like,
No, that's awesome.
maybe don't show your kids that movie until they're a little bit older. But I was just obsessed with it. But it was just like there's like the movie does such a good job at getting to know all of these characters. And what I do really like about it that the book does, and I think the movie really reciprocated, is that even like the most like quote unquote evil characters, like even Effie, who seems evil at first because she's just like she's so like, oh, happy Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I love the propaganda.
Yeah.
And then even Kato, who's like the guy who,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
the movie and book does such a good job of taking all these like evil characters and making you realize that like, oh, the Capitol, President Snow is the big
Yes.
evil.
Yeah.
Like these
Yeah.
people are the way they are because of the situation they're in.
Yeah.
And it's able to do that with like every single character.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah,
like, the
like
way
it
does
puts
it.
the blame in the right spots.
Yeah.
Totally.
I feel like not all dystopian films do, or like dystopian
No.
stories.
Yeah.
Like even like Metropolis, like trying to blame, like putting the blame on the workers instead of like the person who's manipulated them.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they try to at the end, but like you really do hate those workers for so long. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like as much as you go into the Hunger Games hating the other tributes, I think you quickly realize that they're all victims of the same system.
Absolutely. And it's so weird watching that movie now because again at the time you think like, oh my God, Jennifer Lawrence and like Josh Hutcherson and all these people, they
Yeah.
look so old. They must be like in their 30s. And then you watch it now and you're like, they're babies.
so young.
Like they
Yeah.
look like they're
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yeah.
And it adds such another fucked up layer
Yeah.
to it, is that like they really are just like children.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
kids. And
Speaking
Yeah.
of fucked up layers, as someone who did not read or watch the books,
Yeah.
I was realizing
Read the movie.
read the movies, watch the books. The impact of Hunger Games on me was like Minecraft Hunger Games. Like I would be playing Minecraft Hunger Games.
my God.
Or I would be like
Yeah.
like there's a website where you could put in like characters and they like simulate a Hunger Games.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and so like you'd like see who would win or whatever.
Oh, you could put like your friends' names in
Yeah, or you
it,
could put your
and
friends'
and it would
names.
say like who survived, and it's like it's just
And so-
randomly generated, but it's like really funny. But it's so fucked up.
I would have
think
been
it's
so into that. as a
It was I was
messed
so into it, but I think
Yeah.
it's interesting that even though the movies do a really good job of putting the blame in the right places and criticizing and being really interesting, like it became such a cultural juggernaut
Yeah.
that like kind of like the spectacle and the violence of the situation and like what's entertaining about it like just kind of became the broader cultural
Yes.
discussion. Like
Absolutely.
I never was, witness to the characters or the critique. I was only like on Minecraft, like hitting people with swords and being like, I want to be the winner.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting how often when these stories hit the mainstream, they kind of backfire.
I do think I've like long been trying to like phrase how I feel about like that similar
Yeah.
thing in
Yeah.
my mind, that I think film almost like naturally romanticizes what's on screen because like there is like a Hollywood aspect. Like
Yeah.
yes, they're young and they're like poor, but they're also like hot.
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know, there's like so
Like when
many
they're
layers.
sweaty, it looks like they're
It's
mewing.
so good.
Like,
Yes, exactly.
like,
yeah. It's like I know in my head that this is bad, but it's also beautiful and it's
Yes.
shot beautifully and it
Yes.
looks gorgeous. And
Yeah.
so I'm like aware of the violence and the brutality, but it's also like a film, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
It
Yeah.
really is. Like I remember thinking at the time, like, it's always the question of like, oh, how long would you survive if you were in the games? Like, what would be your weapon of choice? Like, it's a weird mix between like people really romanticizing the death and the spectacle, and also a testament to Suzanne Collins' just like incredible storytelling.
Yeah.
That she made this world up, and it's just like, I don't want to say enticing,
Yeah.
but it just can't get out of the public's heads, which I
Yeah.
think is, I guess, the ultimate goal, I don't know, for a lot of writers, and she
Yeah.
did such a good job with it. And whenever there's a new book or a new movie announced, there's always a lot of discourse in the fandom, because Suzanne Collins has said it herself, like she's not going to write a bunch of spin-offs to write spin-offs. Like, she's really here to tell a story and for it to say something, which is why she did Songbirds and Snake and now Sunrise on the Reaping, which is amazing. But it is really weird how, like, every time a new movie does get announced, there is the camp that's very like, oh, I'm really excited to see Hamish's story and how he emotionally is where he is and like, what's gonna say further about the government. But then there's also a camp of people that are like, yes, like another Reaping, like another like arena,
And the
like
arenas, too, those
the
are
arenas
big.
especially are
Yeah.
super, like, again, it's so creative, so well done,
Yeah.
and also like weirdly romanticized. Like,
Yeah.
I just think the Hunger Games, it's like this weird cultural phenomenon that I don't know.
But that's like when we were talking about dystopia not necessarily meaning future, I think she like really tapped into that in today's society, in like, and when she released the book,
Yeah.
that's the same society that finds violence entertaining that the Capitol does in
Yes.
the so-called future, you know?
Absolutely.
That like, as disturbing as it is, it's like she knew that we would also want to watch it, you know?
Yeah.
People fight each other to death.
That's pretty entertaining.
One more thing about the Hunger Games before we do the Running Man is just the way the Hunger Games talks about propaganda, especially in I mean, it's definitely scattered throughout the books and the movies, but definitely in the second and third movies/books, like I feel like the first, like, after they win, and catching fire, such a big part of that is President Snow telling Katniss, like, you won, like, you have to make it look like this is like the best thing that ever happened to you. And there's that scene where it's like she's in like District 2 or District 1, and then like the little girl is like, when I'm your age, like, I'm gonna volunteer, and it's like it, like, very romanticized. And then like we were saying in Mockingjay, like she has to be this like. She was like, they're like, oh, we need a symbol, and like you're the symbol, you're the Mockingjay, you have to move people. But one thing that I really love about the Hunger Games is like Suzanne Collins like really convinces you like, okay, you just need one person to like really be this masthead. Like you need a symbol, like you need something to move people. Yet the fourth movie, the book series, it spends so much of that last book and those last two movies of Katniss like going through the Capitol, like she has to make it back to the Capitol. She like barely gets there, and then like the rest of the people come, and like the whole movie you're like, why did we watch you do this if the cavalry was going to show up? And a lot of people have critiqued that movie for the storytelling of that, but I actually think that is such a beautiful way Suzanne Collins is trying to explain that like revolutions aren't just one person. Like it's not just like it's great to have a figurehead, but at the end of the day, like you have to have everybody involved. And I really like that Suzanne does both arguments and actually has an opinion about it by the end of the last movie, which I just really liked. Like she just really understands rebellions and propaganda and like how to write it, and I like that she has an opinion on it, because I think a lot of films don't. And they don't make up their mind, but I think she has something to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, before we move on, I want to draw some parallels that I found.
Please, let's draw some parallels.
2 parallels,
Yes.
mainly.
Yeah.
Because when I was watching Metropolis.
So
When I was. The beginning, when we first meet Frieder, and he's in his, like, little palace with all the women.
Love that.
The first thing I thought of was the clothing is very District 1.
Yeah.
Like, the costuming in that scene and the District 1 costuming.
Yes.
Which I think, what I love about the film and, like, the visual adaptation is, like, the look of all the places. And, like, the way that District 1 is costumed and make-upped and their hair is so good. Because
you
it's
are
so wealthy.
You're so right that Metropolis looks exactly like it.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
Dude, his
right?
fits are so good in that movie. His pants, oh my god.
See it and, like, you can so see that.
Yeah. Add it to the list of movies that Metropolis has inspired.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Bringing us to The Running Man is you see a lot of that same style in The Running Man.
Yeah.
Like when he goes to like the wealthier part of town, it's like hella like capital coded outfits.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if they drew upon the Hunger Games, because I think that really was such a blueprint for like, this is the rich and wealthy people who are a little bit like crazy, and they wear all these things and they like drink to throw up and because they want to eat more, stuff like that.
God,
like I feel like the Hunger Games kind of set like the cultural blueprint for that, which is I think just a testament to how good the story is.
I would say too, my second thing, just to bring it back to 1984, District 12, very 1984.
Yes.
Visually.
Yes.
The grimy, the gray palette, like there's no color anywhere.
No.
It's very like...
Even their clothes, like a lot of them, because in District 12 they're coal miners, and even though they're not that in 1984, it's like kind of the work pant, like the jumpsuit outfits, like the color palette, like it's got that like the same bleakness to both. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a inspiration for the movie. Yeah. Because
I mean, it's
it
just
looks
like a
really
smart
similar
way too to portray like, I guess like the poorer and like the most
hopeless.
Yes, exactly. And like the most like affected negatively, you know, that like this is the extreme it will go to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because Hunger Games came out 40 years after 1984.
Yeah.
Ouch. Well, let's jump 13 years.
Oh boy.
To The Running Man. Yay. All right. Here's my intro.
Okay.
Straight from Wikipedia.
Hell yeah.
The Running Man is a 2025 dystopian action thriller film produced and directed by the one and only Edgar Wright. It's written by Wright and Michael Bacall. It is based on the incomparable Stephen King's book, who we all know I love. It's a really good book. It's the second adaptation of the book. Yeah. The first adaptation being The Running Man from 1987, which is very close to 1984, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I've heard that it's very different from the book.
Yes.
Whereas The Running Man 2025 is a lot more. We have the book here.
Yeah, I'm trying
For
to
our listeners, we have the book right here. And a little poster that's cut off.
Oh, yeah, we do
but
have
it's
a
right
poster.
here. It's right here.
When was this?
I'm trying to find when
Copies
it
in the
was.
beginning.
When it was published.
Yeah.
I want to say 70s.
It's hiding.
Hold for publishing.
1982.
1982.
Wow.
Wow. So the movie was 5 years after.
5 years.
Wow, that's not much.
Fun Stephen King fact that has nothing to do with this. The Running Man was written under Stephen King's moniker Richard Bachman, who, for those who don't know, Stephen King, he was really big. Like he's big now. His first book was Carrie, which is already so iconic, and he was very famous. And he did a little experiment about 10 to 15 years in his career where he's like, I'm going to write under a different name, Richard Bachman. And he published 4 or 5 books. And they had their own cult following. And he basically proved that he was still a good writer under any moniker.
That's amazing.
That's a pretty big flex.
I dare you to look up why he revealed himself, because I won't say it here.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's tough.
It is tough. Okay.
Uh-oh.
The Running Man 2025. Also, we said this last episode, but The Running Man, the book, takes place in 2025.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
this movie came out in 2025.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
Do we know when the Hunger Games takes place?
I don't.
It says likely around 2330. So
Okay.
300 years?
Is that from her? Is that a guess? Because Metropolis is left vague. I'm wondering if she left it vague too, or if
I think this is fan speculation, because
Okay.
I'm on Reddit and they were saying if the 75th Hunger Games, that's 75 years plus a war before that.
True.
So people speculating
discussing.
it's about 300 years from now.
Okay, so then likely she left it vague.
Also with the kind of technology that's in it.
Makes sense.
Okay, The Running Man, 2025. This adaptation stars Glenn Powell, Lee Pace, Josh Brolin, Michael Cera, and Coleman Domingo. Stellar cast. It's about Ben Richards, played by Powell, who joins a game show in which contestants allowed to flee anywhere in the world are pursued by hunters hired to kill them. So already, pretty reminiscent of the Hunger Games.
True.
Yeah.
It's about a game, quote unquote.
Yeah, with killing.
A lot of
killing.
a lot of the audience participation really matters because
True, with
Yeah.
sponsors and all that.
yeah, because in The Running Man, it's the audience can if
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. Where it's
Yeah.
if the audience, if they see him, they can video him and get money from it.
Yeah.
Another really interesting that connects the two too is that both characters, both Katniss and Ben Richards, realize that it's not actually about beating everybody. It's about entertaining. And so however way you can do that, for Katniss, it's this love relationship with Peeta, and then for Ben Richards, it's realizing he needs to do a violent explosion, be as steal a car with a woman inside of it. It's about getting attention rather than actually winning.
And also I think they both realize that they're fighting someone that they didn't initially anticipate. Katniss isn't really fighting the tributes, she's fighting the Capitol. It's not really it's not just about trying to stay alive or entertaining, it's also about taking down the system.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think one thing when I was thinking about both of these movies is there's a lot of characters that are similar between the two.
Oh.
So let me tell you guys that I just serve similar purposes.
Yeah.
By the way, we should have said this in the beginning. Spoilers.
Oh my god.
So many.
Especially for The Running Man.
Oh yeah.
So one I found interesting is Lee Pace's character. He at the end reveals that he was in The Running Man and that he was offered his own show, which is basically The Running Man now, and he's the lead hunter. And that really reminded me of Haymitch's conversation with Katniss in Catching Fire, when he's this doesn't just end here, it goes on forever. You know, you get your own show.
That's such a good conversation.
I thought both were I don't know, it's interesting that both had that. I thought Coleman Domingo really is a Caesar Flickerman and like Stanley
Yeah.
Tucci's character.
Yes.
Like I think it's interesting that both these adaptations have this like very flamboyant representative of like the capital of the wealthy people.
Also, weirdly, both gay.
Yeah,
Coded.
that's
Like,
true. That's true.
I don't know if Caesar
Yeah.
Flickerman is, but like the way he acts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And same
Yeah.
with Coleman Domingo's character. Like,
I think it's like it's supposed to be just the ultimate showman.
Yeah.
I guess the
Yeah.
ultimate master of
Yeah.
ceremonies.
Yeah.
oh, really quickly, can I interrupt you?
Please.
Okay. This is like a weird thing I remember noticing when I watched The Hunger Games the last time.
Yes.
There's a character who they like cut to them briefly. They're in the Capitol and they're very like, what's the word? Like androgynous, but like almost the opposite. Like they're clearly blending both masculine and feminine like types of dress.
Yes.
And I don't know what my take on this is, but I find it very interesting that the only place that exists is in the wealthy, evil, so to speak,
Yeah.
place.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That like
Well, I think it's supposed to
that's
be
the representation.
I think it's like that thing where to go back into when Katniss is at the party and catching fire and she like drinks the people show her like you have to drink this thing and throw up.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember specifically in the book she's like this is crazy because you know this would be unheard of back in District 12.
Right.
Like you eat because you need to eat.
Yeah.
I think it's that thing of like when wealthy people do it it's glamorous
Yeah.
and it's like yeah glamorous whereas when Katniss does it or like when District 12 does it, it's like actually a hardship. And I feel
Yeah.
like maybe that's part of it. Is
like
like
they have the I don't know
Like,
the freedom to
yeah.
The privilege.
even though they're so brainwashed. Like
yeah.
it's this weird freedom in being brainwashed.
That is an interesting trope, though. Like, I'm curious if anyone's done like a deep dive into like why showmanship kind of like rich, kind of
because
evil characters become queer.
Well, I mean, film has a long history with making its villains queer coded
Yeah.
For sure.
because
Yeah.
that's in and of itself
Yeah.
terrifying for mass audiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I do wonder like there's
Or maybe
an
they're
aspect
saying
of wealth too.
well,
Yeah.
maybe they're saying it's like, oh, you only get to exist when we tell you to exist. And we want you to exist in this very like flamboyant way.
Yes, in the way we say.
Yeah.
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 That might be. I don't know. Obviously, I think Josh Brolin really is kind of like the Donald Sutherland of the world. Like,
Yeah.
he's like the big bad. He has his own history with this, as we know, especially with President Snow. Anyway, I just thought there was like a lot of parallels between
Yeah.
a lot of the characters. Obviously, Ben Richards and Katniss are from one of the poorest parts. Ben
Yeah.
Richards, he's from like the slums, and Katniss is from District 12.
Don't they call it slum side?
I think they do.
I think they do.
Let me
Or is
try.
it shady side? It's something like kind
It's
of
something.
cheesy.
Co-op.
Yeah,
city.
slums of
said it.
Co-op City. But I feel like they have a word
Josh
for it.
Brolin says it like in the trailer, like or something like that. He's like, "We'll get your family out of something forever," but it's like something
Yeah.
like kind of ridiculous.
I don't know. Also
framed the
in
spot.
both, there's definitely like a clear divider between the districts and the capital, and same with the slums and like the main part of the city.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the movie, he like literally has to go through a big thing,
Yeah,
like a security checkpoint, and then all of a sudden he's in this like super nice
Yeah.
downtown area. And again, I just think it, and the fact that these movies, out of all the movies we've discussed, are the closest together and they're so much alike, I think it really just says that authors and directors, artists are feeling a lot of the same things right now and exploring a lot of the
Yeah.
same things. But I know,
Inspired by each other.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Ryan, I know you have some.
I have a prop. I brought a prop.
Yes, for the Running Man.
I'm gonna describe it. I'm a Spotify listener, so I'm gonna be loyal and describe it in detail to you guys. Okay, so I call this the woke to broke iceberg. And it's how I think about it's how I've been thinking about the movie because it's really fascinating to me. And we'll go through it. So it's a triangle. It says woke at the top and broke at the bottom.
Yes,
and
it
then
does.
I tried
you
to
drew
do
the Running
I tried to draw the Running Man.
You did so good.
It didn't go very well. Anyway, here. So we're gonna start at the top. So we're going from woke to broke. There's lots of different ways to think about this movie. And so let's reveal. One of the craziest things to me about the movie was the ending. And
Spoiler.
that a big studio movie could potentially suggest that political violence is based. I don't know. I'm not saying this. I'm saying the movie is kind of saying this. And
Do you want to, full spoilers, say how them end?
yeah, so the movie ends with Ben Richards shooting, Josh Brolin's character, who's like the CEO of
In the
company.
face.
In the face.
Dead. Like, no coming back from that.
And also just to preface that this movie, like many big studio movies, have tackled like violence or stuff, but it's always under a huge sci-fi kind of thing, like Star Wars or whatever, where like they blow up
Like,
a full
all this
Death
could never
Star.
happen.
Yeah,
like,
like even Hunger Games, which is more realistic, you still have like the games with the big electric domes and the tracker jackers and the mutants and like it's all kind
it still
of
feels
it's very
like too
theatrical.
far away. Yeah.
But like Running Man, and I'll talk about this more later down, but is aesthetically very similar to our world and uses symbols and stuff that is just straight up our world. So it's very interesting to me that on the surface you have like a big studio movie that's like very left leaning in its politics in terms of like maybe the only way to solve problems is to throw a firebomb in the studio and then shoot the CEO in the head.
And this is Paramount.
And this is Paramount.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
So we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Going down the iceberg, still in a woke way. Next we have Leftist Lake meets Mainstream. I'm proud of that one. But I do need to describe more because that's not very descriptive. So it's interesting to me that this film, on the woke side of things, elevates a lot of leftist figures or leftist themes that are usually on the outskirts to more heroic roles. And this can be partially attributed to the books as well. But we have like poor people that are making, revolutionary videos, and they're like the heroes of the story that inspire him to like make change. Or we have Michael Cera's character, which is like lives in his mom's basement and makes zines and like
it really humanizes whereas as we were saying, Metropolis ends up demonizing the workers. Similar to the Hunger Games, it really humanizes the working class and says like you should be sympathetic to them, like they have it hard, like it's very opposite to what we were talking about.
It tries to make zines like really cool, and like zines historically zines are really cool, but historically they are for the people on the outskirts. They're the opposite of mainstream. So it's kind of strange to see them in a mainstream movie.
And celebrated.
Exactly. The credits, the cool music is like over like lots of zine imagery, like cutouts and lots of like symbols that are very explicitly this world of leftist politics.
Absolutely.
So going down more towards the Baroque part, we'll talk more about the aesthetics. And I have aesthetics over truth and the perfect victim. So the film kind of co-opts all these very leftist aesthetics and people and ideas and messages, but who is our main man? Like Glenn Powell. He's like the perfect poor person. Like all of his anger is perfectly justified. Like he's angry because he can't save his coworkers from certain death at work with his big muscles and perfect face. Like
he enters his death game because his daughter is dying.
Because his daughter is dying.
You're like, oh my god, for sure.
And his wife is like also a skinny model and like gorgeous and like even just having read the books, like he is very much not a perfect guy. Like all the stuff that they accuse him of doing in the movie, he actually does. Yeah. So in the movie, they accuse him of like murdering cops with a firebomb and kidnapping the woman. And like in the movie, these are all like mistakes that they deep fake into being real, which is like kind of interesting. But in the book, he's doing this stuff.
Oh, if you haven't read the book. Highly recommend.
So good.
It's where I think Edgar Wright was going for more of a action thriller, like, and there's a lot of like jumpy action scenes, especially the Michael Cera bits. The book is very more 1984-esque, where it's kind of a bummer. Like the main character has almost like Holden Caulfield energy, where you're like you're depresso. He's described as like ugly, like he's a more, I feel like, realistic, angry American.
Oh yeah, the start of the book is like his wife like screaming at him because he's gonna go do the Running Man. And like he's so angry and like gross and dirty, and like their child's like coughing violently in the other room.
That's what the book feels like, dirty.
It's dirty. Everything is like so uncomfortable, and in the movie they have this very reasonable discussion.
And also he kind of enters by mistake.
And he also enters by mistake. And so
that's right, it is kind of chosen for him.
Like he thinks, he's like, I won't do it, I'm gonna do something else. And then he does it anyway.
So Anyway, and the side characters I think are especially egregious in that like the family that takes him in the movie, like yeah, they have like they're poor coded, but they have like nice sweaters and like this cool secret room. And
also, like the guy is like attractive too.
Yeah,
like,
he's like
like,
he's like totally studied out. Like the kid is like great, and like they still have the kid that's dying, but like in the book, the kid has like cancer and is about to die.
Yeah.
The like 9-year-old kid gets introduced as like smoking a cigarette, and like they're very much like not perfect people, and like but they're still the heroes that save him.
Yes.
And like Michael Cera's character, you know, Stephen King like describes him as like this disgusting overweight guy, which like, you know, is not very woke of him. But what's less woke is recasting him as Michael Cera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, why not? It's like, it's worse to not have these. I think they're so afraid of like portraying people imperfectly, or that would 100%. Ruin the popcorn appeal of the movie.
Well,
perhaps
that's what makes this discourse interesting. Is like no one in the movie is doing a bad job.
Yeah,
like
no
I think they're all doing the job they were hired for.
Yeah,
it's more about the movie that they set out to make.
Yeah,
and the movie they set out to make is just very different. Than not like very very different, but in terms of like tone and realism, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's popcorn coded.
I think that it's like kind of there it's interesting, and this goes back to like the Hunger Games in terms of like how it's become a franchise of like or the ideas of like yay, violence is fun and cool, like kind of trickle out, and like the anti-fascist themes in the middle are kind of like left behind for like the people that actually read and engage in the books.
Absolutely.
Like on the surface you have all these like cool left, like, and it's great that like, you know, to see a film like making zines cool, and you know, like I want more people to go read more zines, you know, like zines are awesome, and like, you know, if one, you know, person watches the credits and they're like, wow, this is so cool, you know, what are zines, and then they go Google zines, like that's a win. Or like, oh, you know what, I really like Michael Cera's character, you know, like let me go research like the guy he had hung up on his wall or whatever, which I think was Karl Marx or something. He had some big communist on his wall.
Kind of crazy.
Then like that's a win. But also, how can it kind of, you know, portray these ideas aesthetically on the surface, but underneath, you know, it's really just kind of upholding these things that aren't good.
And like, how can that be the takeaway when it's like Glenn Powell? And probably the thing they're gonna do is go watch Glenn Powell movies, or like look at pictures of his face once they're done, because like he's the appeal.
Exactly, he's a perfect victim, and I think the point of leftism, hopefully, is to help anyone and everyone, even if they're not perfect. And so has portraying them all as perfect, that kind of undercuts the message. I agree. And finally, we have Rebellion, state-funded and approved. Can a movie in itself...
That's so good. In parentheses.
Can a movie produced by the big system ever be truly revolutionary? And that's, I think it's worth debate.
That's a great...
I don't know.
That's a great...
Because like if I'm like Emperor M, if I go to Emperor M and I'm like, I want to make a movie, can you pay me to make a movie? It's about your empire and kind of you and like a critique of it. And you're like, sure. And you give me a bunch of money, and then I make it and I give it to you, and you're like, good? And you're like, yeah, here's a bunch of money to advertise it. Let's both make money. And then you go and advertise it and it plays, and it's like anti-you, but we're splitting the profits.
Right. It's like a little sleazy.
Can the art itself be truly revolutionary?
Right.
What do you guys think? It's a hard I have thoughts, but
it's hard not to think of this issue as just black and white, and I think it's actually more to what you just said. Is yes, this movie was made by Paramount, and yes, it's gonna make a bunch of money, and it has already made a bunch of money, and despite kind of like the fact that it has like political violence, and especially in a time where there's a lot more political violence in America right now, but I think what you said is like, if someone watches it and walks away being like, I didn't know what a zine was, like I think I'm gonna go look that up. Like I think every single movie is political, no matter whether it's indie or whether it's a $500 million movie. So I think in some ways, I do kind of think that even if it is state-funded, Paramount-funded, if it changes somebody's mind or if someone is impacted by it, I think you got to do what you got to do. And especially in movie making right now, it is so hard to make a damn movie.
Yeah.
Like, more so than ever. And I'm not saying that means if a studio offers you have to what's the word? You have to compromise in order to take their money. Yeah. But I think a lot of directors are speaking out on it about, I think it's working with some studios at this point and being like, I get to make my movie, you know, and I know that's not the most radical take ever, but I think sometimes you have to get the movie made. And if you wanted to make this a super, like, you know, even woker movie, you know, I think Edgar Wright is famous enough and wealthy enough that he could have maybe made this on his own, like done this a very indie way, you know.
But probably not with.
That. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think any way you can make a movie is a way to do it. And I'm not saying you have to compromise all of your values, but I still think there is a way to still say what you're trying to say, even if it's made by someone you're saying it against.
I will just to play devil's advocate.
Totally. Because I totally agree with both sides.
Yes. And I'm not to say that I entirely disagree with you.
Totally.
However, if Edgar Wright, as famous as he is, as I don't know how much money he has, as well known, as wealthy as I'm sure that he is through his career, if he cared enough to faithfully adapt the book in a way that kept the themes the same, that didn't compromise the vision, he would have. And he didn't. And you can say anything you want about, well, maybe Paramount, they bought the rights and he wanted to adapt it, so he kind of had to. He didn't have to. You know, like, as many extenuating circumstances as there may have been, he made the decision to compromise. And I think that's probably where things get hazy, is that, like...
Ignore that.
I also believe that, like, getting the film made means a lot, and I think absolutely all art is political, and absolutely you could watch The Running Man and come away saying, like, I want to look into these ideas that they kind of bring up because they don't explore them, and I would like to, you know, or I'm curious in the world that they've crafted and I would like to live in it some more, and then you kind of discover what that means. But there is something, like, lost there in that I didn't come away with that fact. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's hard for me to point at The Running Man and say, period. Ryan threw his
I got tired.
I think with something like The Hunger Games, that makes me so much angrier at, like, capitalism, the system, like keeping rich and keeping poor. That makes me mad. That makes me go, like, I'm gonna read the books. I'm gonna, like, look into Suzanne Collins and, like, her mindset and stuff. I didn't care about The Running Man. And truth be told, you guys know this, I fell asleep during it. And so...
That's totally okay.
And honestly, Glenn Powell pissed me off watching this. I used to be a Glenn Powell fan. Post The Running Man, I'm a Glenn Powell hater. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
God, huge swing.
I just didn't care.
I just really think he was misused.
Really cast.
I think my biggest issue with this film, on, like, a filmmaking level, is that I think there were 2 movies being made. And the edit squashed them together. Like, I think Glenn Powell was a choice in, like, this more, like, dark comedy action, like, like, I think in a movie like that, he was a great choice for. Like, he's really good in roles like that. Like, I know he was cast for this based off of The Hitman, which is, like, so good, and he's excellent in it. But then when I think, and, like, he's so great in parts of The Running Man where it's like, where that's his shtick and he's doing it. But then there's...
I'm still here.
I'm still, like, so good. And then there's parts of it, though, where it does get more gritty, where it does, like, the political violence is like, whoa, I think this is trying to say something about that, like, you wouldn't expect from this movie. And, like, the poverty aspect, too, is very, like, well, like, I know Glenn Powell's a movie star, you know? Like, I know he's rich. Like, I know he's pretty, and the person who's playing his wife is pretty, you know, like, that's not selling it for me. And I just really, I really think there's 2 movies here that were mashed into one, which is why I think tonally it's so off for me. Like,
but that's the studio effect. That's the Paramount effect. Is that I'm sure Edgar Wright came to them and was like, "This is my story," and then they were like, "Well, to sell it, you'll need Glenn Powell. You're gonna need this person and that person. You're gonna need it to look this way and that way."
Exactly.
And that's where I think I'm like, then that's not.
Yeah.
You're losing all of it. Like,
absolutely.
Like to sell a movie for a studio, you lose all the intricacies and the more nuanced conversation that's being had in a book.
I think one way maybe if Edgar Wright did want to be more faithful to the book and like let's say Paramount got in the way, I think a way he could have still made this with like a studio. Like I think of Chloe Zhao with Hamnet, and something she said kind of post Marvel is that like you like unfortunately to make a movie, a bigger budgeted movie, you do need a studio. But she really advocated for like accepting less money from the studio and working inside those constraints because then you can still make the movie you want to make and in fact the constraints actually make it better. And I think maybe there's a world where this movie was made for less money and maybe because it costs less Paramount would have backed off maybe if they had like any of the things, or
if it only cost 10 million
instead of 110 million they probably would have been like okay, we're not gonna stick our hands in it.
Would they have even bet on it?
Probably not.
Maybe they wouldn't.
How much money do they make from it?
Yeah,
totally.
My hot take, I think I agree with both. I think you've been both saying
it's a gray issue.
It's a very gray issue. I think that I think that art can escape its owner in terms of, and like, you know, take on a life of its own. I think Andor is a good example of something that was made within the studio system, but has a very nuanced and interesting conversation about this stuff. And inspires lots of people.
I don't understand how especially season 2 was made.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Didn't Disney say like, hey, when you make season 2, can you make the Empire like less bad?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they gave them the no, and they were like, no.
It's truly a miracle that show was made.
It's
so I think that it's possible. It's difficult, and I think that Edgar Wright clearly cares about the politics of the books and the way that he wrote the script, and you know, he could have ended it, and I thought the movie was going to end right after he saw his wife out of the grocery store, because
it's kind of how it
very Hollywood ending. And the fact that they had that scene, and the fact that he included all these very clear references, some of which weren't in the book, it shows that he cares somewhat about the message and getting stuff out there.
Because it would have been so easy to cut off the movie. But it keeps going.
Yeah. And to just have, like, if he wanted to just make a straight action comedy, he would have. Like, he could have had a slick, cool end credits. It didn't have to be like homemade zines. Like, it didn't have to end with him jumping out with all the stuff. Like, he centered this stuff. But I think the fact that it was made in a studio system, and the fact that likely because it was made in that system, it had to,
and for so much money.
They were clearly banking on it being a huge success. It wasn't. And they had all these celebrities, and I think that sheen, you know, I think that the third point down on the iceberg is kind of where I land on it. Like, I don't think it's completely, you know, corporate ruined, but I think that the fact that those aesthetics were prioritized kind of over the true politics of what he was going for, ultimately, I think kind of just rubs people the wrong way. It makes you go to sleep, as opposed to the gritty, real people. Like Hunger Games is real people, real people, and the people in The Running Man do not feel like real people. They feel like caricatures because they're all too one note.
Again, that's like thinking about Edgar Wright's style is like he actually. His writing is best when his characters do feel like caricatures and like more stereotypical. Like if I think about especially the Cornetto trilogy, like none of those characters are real people, you know, but there's always something about them that makes they're one note but like relatable. Always relatable in that one note. And I think in the writing in The Running Man is it was like a mix of like trying to make them relatable, but it just was not hitting whatsoever.
Because it's all like so perfect. Like, you know, he's relatable because he saves people.
I was just thinking about
unattainable,
perfect.
Like him and Katniss being like how they become symbols of a revolution that they don't initially believe in. But there's so much, I don't know, like they both do what they do for family.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, there's just so much about Katniss's character that's like, you can tell that she's reluctant, you know, like she doesn't want to kill people, she doesn't want to do bad things, you know, she wants to care for her family, she wants to protect people.
I'd say it's because she's vulnerable. Like like Katniss, like she's a character that like tries to not be vulnerable, but you see throughout every single movie and I mean emotionally vulnerable. Whereas like I think with the Running Man, I didn't sense a vulnerability inside of him. He has vulnerabilities outside of him, which is his family, his child, you know, the people that are trying to kill him. Like that's a lot of physical vulnerabilities, but I didn't sense anything. I think they tried to push this anger aspect, and I think he definitely has that. But I wish the anger there was a more cathartic moment for that.
I wish it would be a perfect anger.
I feel like they forgot about it at some
anger.
point.
And I think really what I've like come around in my mind to is that I don't mean to make it about gender, but Katniss is a woman, and whatever his name is a man. And I think, truth be told, I relate to her more than I ever could to him.
Of course, yeah.
She has also, like, her role in her family and her role in her community and how brave she has to be, first as a woman, and then as a protector, and then as a fighter, and then as a symbol. You know what I mean? There's so many more layers to her than,
he doesn't have a lot
a
lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
And his anger helps him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cassian Andor, real person, active member in his community.
Yeah.
You care about him because he's real and because he cares and because he's
and
a
he has
rusted
vulnerability.
hero. And he's vulnerable. And he's
too.
imperfect.
And
Like, he's not always a good person.
Yes.
And I think that's vital, whether you're making an independent movie or a studio system movie, even if you gloss it up with, you know, the cool aesthetics or whatever. You know, it's cool to see that on the big screen when it was like for so long, like you would get literally blacklisted from Hollywood for even, you know, implying something even close to being a communist, to like see it on a wall in a, you know, action comedy flick.
It's crazy how much
some progress.
Communist images were like layered throughout it. But it was really fascinating.
It completely falls flat because it's there's just nothing real.
Similarly,
nothing real about
between Cassian Andor and Katniss, though, is that they kind of like find their way to being a revolutionary reluctantly. He wants nothing to do with it, and neither does she really. She just wants to provide, and he just wants to like not worry about it. But they both become like, they're both, the word that's coming to mind is corrupted, but that's not like the right, you know what I mean? They become like radicalized.
Radicalized is a good one.
What they see and what they go through and what they're kind of like forced to go through. She volunteers, Katniss, but she is then forced to do all of these things and to like sing and dance for the Capitol.
For sure.
He volunteers to Glenn Powell. He's like, and also his whole conversation in the beginning of like, you can't go work at the club because that's too dangerous, but I'm gonna go put my life on the line because I'm an idiot. And like, so it's like, crazy. I feel like I can't relate to you. I don't know, like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't believe the way he is radicalized, because I don't think in a lot of ways he is radicalized. I think a lot of things he does, he just does. And I feel like
the movie
I don't
justifies
understand
his actions too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you are fighting this big bad. Literally,
He's always justified.
Literally everybody in the world is against you. Like, everyone is trying to get you.
The movie or the book succeeds because he constantly fucks up. He's constantly hurting people and reckoning with the fact that he's hurting people along the way. And in the movie, they always make it a mistake. If he hurts someone, it's always a mistake.
It's
he never acts in a way that we wouldn't understand or justify.
I think
that just makes it completely unrelatable.
I think my hope with movies that maybe don't say what they came to say or don't say what they said fully, like this movie, is that like, I just hope that audiences have this discourse, maybe recognize maybe something said wasn't said fully, or because all the things we talked about aside from Metropolis are based on books. Like I hope that people watch this and then read the book and be like, oh, so the things that maybe I was feeling are actually like super heightened. And again, that doesn't mean like, obviously you hope the movie hits everyone who watches it and they're radicalized from it, but obviously that doesn't happen. And I hope something comes from this.
But the thing is, like, I think I kind of know that The Running Man hasn't done that, at least to the mass majority of people, because
It's not doing well.
and I've read the reviews, and we have a friend who loves it, and I've read his review. I won't say who.
I know.
And from that review, I know what his takeaways are, and that it's punchy and it's action, and then it's like it's entertaining,
which I can't disagree with, because it is.
It is,
but
but it's
I think I just wanted more from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be about like the entertainment of violence and how we buy into that and how that's like a distraction against the real like horrors of the world, you can't just make it about that. Like the Hunger Games didn't. You know, like it's not just about the entertainment of violence, it's also about the horrific acts of violence, and that the violence itself, it shouldn't be that entertaining, and what you should be focusing, because they use it as a distraction to suppress the people. But The Running Man, I don't know, it feels less like they're using it as a tool and more like, what's the other thing? Sorry, I feel like I'm...
No. Go off.
The role of like the people in it is very interesting in that they are the driving force.
Yeah.
In the Hunger Games, it's really mostly the capital.
Yeah.
The first two districts are like on board, but the capital, they watch it.
Yeah.
And you see bits and pieces of District 12 watching the Hunger Games, but they're careful that most of the time they're forced to. Like, especially the ending, they're all forced to watch
That's
it.
said in the book too. Is that like every time the Hunger Games happens, it's playing kind of everywhere.
Yes.
So you kind of
look
can't
away.
ignore it.
Yeah.
And this is where I feel like The Running Man is almost like Metropolis-y, in that it's like the people are bad. Because they're buying into it.
Oh, that's really interesting.
And they're greedy, and because like they're poor, all they want is money, and they don't care how they'll get it. So they'll sell out this person who's being hunted down.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it too.
I also don't like.
But the heroes that radicalize him are the people. True. And in the book, it's beautiful because they're so like they're so, I'm not saying imperfect over and over and again, but like they're not like, models. Like they're real people, and so then it feels like such an act of bravery and courage, and you like grow to like love those people and be like, wow, like they sacrificed their lives or this, and like sometimes he keeps it vague, like whether they were hunted down for helping him afterwards or not. And it makes these like people on the outskirts like so cool and so like awesome. And then in the movie it's like celebrities or models, and like so then it doesn't feel like it's the people helping him. It feels like a plot point or whatever.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, and obviously we don't know the artist's intention, but perhaps villainizing the people, like whether it's like the rich people watching or even the poor people that are trying to also get him killed, like that could just also be, and I don't think it's executed as well as it could be, but that also could be a commentary about people on social media today and how everything is kind of what's the word?
The media companies turn us against each other.
Absolutely. Like I think
media,
in some world maybe that is a critique of it. I just wish it would have, I don't know, maybe been approached differently, because I feel like it was too glazed over to maybe hit home that message, at least for me. But I can see a world in which maybe that's what he meant, but it doesn't feel it's like
intentional
enough for me to really think that, though.
It's like that thing we were talking about, like with The Godfather, of that it like it really kind of does critique toxic masculinity. But if you don't actually see it as critique, then it's just enforcing. It's like this very well could be critiquing the role of violence in our media, and how it does turn us against each other, and it focuses us on the wrong issue. But
totally.
But I didn't come away with that, and so in my mind it's unsuccessful. And if most other people also aren't thinking about it like that, then it's largely unsuccessful.
It hasn't sparked a big conversation. It like when people are talking about it, like they're not even like I kind of wish
it's always
it had
about like
done
the visuals.
better, so that this conversation could be had on a bigger scale. Like with the Hunger Games. But I think it just like if you're not like if the characters and the storytelling isn't there, like it's just not gonna be. It's like it feels very tell don't show in terms of like, you know, we're being kind of like told like, oh, this is bad and whatever, but like we're not being shown like how it's affecting him on a human level. Besides just like we're told like, oh, he can't afford medicine, his child is sick, and they just say that. Like we don't see.
But
how
like,
that's
what about
him and his wife have a very
character?
reasonable conversation about how their child is sick and they need money to do it. I'm gonna do the Running Man. Don't do that. Oh, I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, bye. Instead of like them screaming at each other in squalor and poverty because like the system is so fucked. Like that's I think what was missing, and we just can't connect to him, and I think that's why it's not doing well, and people just don't really
aren't connecting with it.
So I appreciate the swing.
Because weirdly, I think if he was
but
much more of an angry person, even if he was a caricature of anger, I think that would have been more relatable. Of him being like overtly awful and angry, I think it would have been like, oh, I know I'm not 1,000% like that, but I also like don't not relate to him.
I actually kind of really disagree with you.
Whoa! Tell me why.
Because you're saying you wish he was angrier, or just like outwardly.
Maybe that his anger wasn't as always super justified.
Yes, like you said, if
like
he
did,
shouldn't
be yelling at his
why
wife.
would he yell at his wife?
That
But I'm
makes
saying
sense.
if the movie started with that, then I would be like, whoa, where is this character coming from? Like, what's going on with him?
They do make him just angry. And I feel like back to the thing about how he's like not vulnerable. He's just angry.
But like what Ryan was saying is his anger is technically justified.
It is. But it's also like all that there is to him. And I feel like I wish he almost made less sense in that he was not angry about the things he's angry about in the film. He was angry about everything else. And then he was vulnerable about those other things. He was emotional about it.
You're right.
He's just angry
his
all the time.
His anger should make no sense whatsoever.
Right, because
anger is a mask.
It doesn't.
Yes.
We never see below the mask.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's really interesting. Is that he should make less sense.
It should, because
I really agree.
I don't think that character would be angry about those things. I think he'd be angry about all the other things, and it would be misplaced, and then he would understand why. But like the freaking vein they paint on his freaking forehead is so stupid. Like it's I feel like that just shows like that's all that character is. And I understand working in like caricatures and like how it hides something deeper. It means something more.
But
I didn't get
not
it.
with this.
Totally. He's just an angry man. And I didn't care about him.
Like, you know how couples, like, when you argue, you should be, like, trying to, like, focus on the issue, like, focusing on the problem and not each other. Like, you're not doing this instead of, like, the problem. And, like, they have, like, such a mature, like, they're focused on the problem. But, like, in the book, he's yelling at her.
They should be mad at each other.
It's not her fault that, like, the system is the way it is. And she's very reasonable in being like, I don't want you to die, though. But, like, they're screaming at each other. And it's so real because of that. And that's where it all just falls apart. From that first scene. I was like, it's over.
Minute one.
Minute
of the gate.
I still love you, Edgar Wright.
I love you, Edgar Wright. Oh my god.
We know he can do better.
I know.
We know you can do better.
And maybe that really is the paramount of it all.
Edgar, if you ever listen to this or watch this, first of all, I love you. Second of all, I really liked Last Night in Soho. I'm really sorry other people didn't get it. I thought that movie was awesome. I loved how stylistic it was. I just think
I hope he's not. Actually, I hope he is. I hope he takes this into account.
I hope paramount.
And
we talked at length.
David Ellison is listening.
we talked at length about this. But one thing from The Running Man that I was really missing, and that I could almost forgive a lot of what we're talking about, is if the movie was more stylistic, more Edgar Wright. And it just wasn't for me. And we talked about this at length, and I think it's because Last Night in Soho didn't do so well. And it's so stylistic, like the shot choices, like the things he does in it is just so
it's really
cool and creative. And I think because it didn't do very well, I don't know, like, he might have been scared, or the studio said, see, you were stylistic, maybe don't do that again. And you see in The Running Man, we get these glimpses of his style in it, and then they're just gone. And
you never know what's behind making a movie.
Totally.
It's very hard. There's a lot of people with a lot of decisions, and a lot of opinions. And they have a lot of money that your film
that unfortunately
can take
can take away.
So it's hard.
So, but I'm still It's an Edgar Wright fan club name. Does he have one?
I don't. Surely.
A writer. I'm a writer.
I'm a writer.
I'm a writer, and I want him. I want to see more from him because I still think he has a lot in him. I know people are begging for like a sequel to any of like the Cornetto trio films. I hope not. I hope he goes back to writing original stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where he really thrives.
Yeah.
Because he's just so good.
He's so good.
So good. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for inviting me.
I really liked your
I'm happy to be here.
woke to broke.
Woke to broke iceberg.
We'll make sure to put that on
Thanks.
Instagram for
Yeah.
our Spotify listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check out the Instagram, Spotify listeners.
Yes, you'll see
And
it there.
follow and like, and then comment also.
Yes.
And then send the profile to your friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To all your friends.
All of
Send
those
things.
things. And then put it on your story too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then repost it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then go to the
Click all the
YouTube.
buttons.
And then make sure all
There's
your
so many
friends
buttons.
repost
Subscribe
yours.
on
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Rate 5 stars on Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
You
don't
could
know how
comment on
Apple
Spotify.
works.
Yeah.
You could follow it.
Let
can
us know if you
comment on
agree,
Spotify?
disagree.
You can comment on
I didn't
Spotify.
know that.
I've
sure.
been commenting on our episodes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the grind.
I didn't know
If
that.
anyone wants to have a conversation with me on Spotify,
I will.
I'm in there.
I'd be really curious if people agree, disagree.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
people got so mad they shut it off.
Oh.
Oh, if they.
It happens.
It
It
happens.
happens.
It happens.
It happens.
You
Just
know.
tell us why.
But
Tell us
yeah,
why.
it's supposed to be
We're
a
curious.
conversation.
yeah.
We're young. We're prone to mistakes.
Yeah.
And we're
Open to
very
discussions.
opinionated.
And we're
very
very
opinionated.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much again.
Thanks,
Of course.
Brian.
Thanks for
We have
having
to have
me.
you
You've been a great guest.
soon
Oh,
again.
stop. Stop it.
I believe next is Lynn Ramsey now.
Yes, we did lie previously.
Yes.
A great
Next
filmmaker.
week is
We're
Lynn
switching.
Ramsey.
So make sure to catch up.
You
or
have an
just-
extra 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be listening
We
on Spotify.
we just finished all 5 of her movies.
We just watched all of them.
Bangers. Can't wait to talk
Phenomenal.
about it.
I think if I
Really
had to
good.
recommend, You Were Never Really Here.
Yep.
We need to talk about Kevin. And
I think
yeah.
if you're a little more sensitive, perhaps You Were Never Really Here is somehow
That's so funny because you're right. And
the
also,
most
like,
digestible.
Because
We'll get it in.
it's probably the most violent with the least
Yeah.
amount of violence in it.
Yes.
So it's
I think it makes the most sense.
and it makes it
Without
makes more sense.
thinking about it too
Yes,
much.
Yeah.
So if you just want to watch one, I think
And
that's
I
a
think
good
it's
one to
pretty
start with.
indicative of her style too.
Yes.
You Were Never Really
I think
Here.
you definitely get
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
if you watch that.
Yeah.
But that will be more. That'll be a whole ass episode.
Whole episode.
We're so excited to talk about
2
her.
weeks.
2 weeks. You got 2 weeks. Anyway, that was it. That was Dystopian.
Dystopian.
Yay!
Yay, Dystopian!